Hello, it's me. I'm Pixel, and I wasn't at all talking with Ophia about us music, us at all.
No,
That's not why we are a little bit late. Definitely not.
no, it's not because we were showing each other our favorite bits of soundtracks.
No,
that
no,
we would do if we could.
it's not that. Definitely, we weren't doing that.
Definitely.
We weren't definitely doing that. But hi, I'm Pixel, and this one up here is.
Ow.
Hey, oh. we didn't even start. What the heck?
At least we are streaming right now. It's not like we are outside of streaming, so I am allowed.
You're not allowed in any case. What the heck? So
what are we going to do today?
We're gonna play Umineko no Naku Koroni.
And what happened in Umineko no Naku Koroni last time?
People died, but I mean, people died a lot.
People die when they are killed.
People die when they are killed, yes, exactly. And basically last time was like, hey Maria, could you tell Beatrice that if she could kill someone, would do it in an impossible way so that we know that none of us. And Maria said, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna tell her. And guess what happened?
Got him.
So basically, Beatrice was, so you don't believe I exist? Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Hello.
Hello, hi Mikael. Welcome. So, I said that we can.
Welcome to Rokenji, Mom. Have a look around.
I'd say that we can start.
Yes.
Beam bom. Beam bom. Someone oil that door, please. Okay, yes, remember, they decided basically, they died with the door locked inside, you don't know how they died.
We need to preserve this scene until the police come.
Basically, they closed the shower, they stopped the shower from going, and left everything untouched, so the police could, like, investigate when it's gonna be possible. And that actually makes sense. That's actually a smart decision, I'd say.
Yes.
It's strange that the gun hasn't been used yet, but I guess we're gonna see. But yeah, let's see. We'll see. By the way.
Yes. Should I go?
Yes. You start.
Natsuhi announced it as though she didn't care whether they agreed or not. Understandable. If anyone had a right to object, it would have been George, but it looked as though it shed enough tears.
Yes.
George nodded slightly, still facing away from the others. And when he stood up, everyone agreed too. Everyone else agreed too.
Yeah, it's okay.
Natsuhi still hadn't opened that western envelope of the family hat that she'd picked up.
You know what's the secret of not noticing, making people not notice that you made a mistake? Just ignore it and
just
go
continuing.
on. Exactly.
Yes, but I am unable to do that.
I know it's very hard, but just ignore it and go on.
Okay.
Pretend it didn't happen.
But now that they decided to leave this room, she decided to unseal it in the parlor, where everyone could watch.
Yes, makes sense.
As soon as they walked out into the hallway to head back to the parlor, some of them immediately felt something out of place, or maybe sensed something strange.
Eh? I see it. Welcome.
Oh.
Smell? Like
Yes.
a could it be like a dead body? Because I mean, if you if you ever smells a rotten corpse, it's awful. So it would make sense.
When everyone sniffed the air, they did notice a horrible burnt smell drifting through the hallway, one that none of them had smelled until then.
Burnt smell?
Burnt smell?
Yeah, no, I know what it means. I mean, like, what could be
Yes.
burning?
We'll see.
ちょっと厨房を見てきます。
It could be, but
火はちゃんと
That's
消したはず
reasonable.
なんですよ。
okay, this reminds me of a thing. Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna open a little parenthesis here because this reminds me of a thing that happened to me once, and I
Okay.
feel I need to share it because it's very funny.
Go.
Okay, there was this day when basically I was at home with my mother, just me and her. I was at my computer listening to music, talking about that. So I had my headphones on and I couldn't hear a single thing.
Okay.
What happened? My mother was cooking and apparently, I don't know if that happened or not, but she basically said, I'm gonna go out. Can you please turn off the flame in like 15 minutes or so? I didn't hear any of that. If that happened, I didn't hear not a single word because I was the music on my ears was very loud, so I couldn't. And also, I had a noise cancelling headphones, so I couldn't hear a single thing.
Okay.
So basically, after a while, I smell. After like a lot while, I smelled something's burning, and I was like, what the heck is that? I am like, you know?
Yes, sniffing.
And I go to the kitchen and I see a pot with the lid closed and the flame still on, and I'm like,
Okay.
well, must be that, of course, because the smell was more intense in the kitchen. So I go, I turn off the flame and I try to open the thing. It couldn't open. I leave the lid and the entire thing comes up, and I'm like, okay, this is strange.
There's something wrong.
This is kind of strange. So I'm like, and you know why? It's the pressure, because of the pressure inside was so high that the entirety was sealed.
Sealed, yeah.
So after forcing it open for like, I would like to pinpoint that I was forcing. I used the entirety of my force to open the thing. The things comes off, and what I see inside is like flames. But think about an image of hell burning with flames. Probably very close to that.
This is fine meme, but inside of the pot.
Yes, except, but like a lot of flame. And I see that, I close back the thing immediately. So I'm like, okay, this thing must go outside right now. So I take it and put it on the, I put it outside. Leave it open to make the smoke, and I also turn off the flame, and I'm like, okay. So basically, almost burned. My mother almost burned the entire kitchen because of that.
Great. Good.
No, this is Ophi. He's my friend. Also, hi Mason.
Hi.
By the way, talking about burning things, that's why it came to my mind. The kitchen and flames, that's why it came to my mind. By the way, we can continue. Parenthesis closed. Funny episode finished.
Funny episode goes brr.
Yeah, and goes burn. More burn.
After noticing a burnt smell, it was natural that Kumasawa, who had just been using the burner in the kitchen, suspected that her own sleep puppet caused it.
Makes sense, because when you're running away, you just probably wasn't
Yeah.
thinking about the flame.
Kumasawa hastily dashed away.
Kano, Kumasawa to ikinasai.
Never go alone. Good idea.
Yes. Great. Good job. After
Arson,
nodding
yes.
Genji's order, Kanon followed after her. He wasn't running, but as he followed her, he tried to search for the cause of the smell in other directions as well.
臭い
これは確かに鼻が曲がりそうな匂いですね。しかし換気のために窓を開けてもいい。
I mean, it's raining, so yeah, it's not really possible.
Natsuhi was reluctant to open the windows in a situation where self-defense was so important. So it's not even the rain, it's just self-preservation.
Yes, could make sense.
換気扇を回させましょう。窓を開ける必要はないと思います。
ジョージの兄貴、話しかけても大丈夫かよ。犯人を探す相談なら構わないよ。
It seemed that George had managed to climb out of the abyss of sorrow.
Okay, one moment.
Yes.
My opinion,
Yes.
Perfect Boy is gonna break very soon. Just my opinion.
Okay.
It's not gonna be that perfect in a bit.
No. All that filled his chest now was the quiet flame of hatred towards the culprit who had stolen the lives of the one he loved and his beloved parents.
That's why. And it would make sense, honestly.
Yes, it would.
部屋にはチェーンがかかってた。さっき構造を見たが、とても外から細工できる代物じゃねえ。つまり、完璧な密室だったってことだ。そうなるね。バラ庭園の倉庫の時は、シャッターの鍵を使用人室からこっそりと持ち出した。
Yeah, but with the chain, it's not really possible.
あるいは、複製の鍵を持っていた可能性とか、いくつか方法が想像できた。
One could say they could have gotten out by the window, but how do you close the window from outside?
Yeah, exactly.
でも、チェーンは違う。チェーンは一般に浸透した施錠方法の中で、最もシンプルに密室を構築できる。
チェーンだけは物理的に破壊しない限り、外からはどうにもならないぜ。
And we know that it wasn't broken.
じゃあつまり、犯人は扉からは出入りしなかったってことなのか。
こりゃ面白いや。つい数時間ほど前にも、扉以外でどうやって部屋から出入りしたのかって、みんなで騒いだ気がするぜ。
Okay.
Back then, we were all losing our cool, wondering how grandfather had disappeared from his room. The receipt on Teva stuck in the door on a whim proved that the door had remained sealed. And since Aunt Natsuhi was the only person to enter or exit during that time, she was under suspicion. Aunt Eva proposed a theory about how Aunt Natsuhi might have thrown grandfather out of the window and left by the door herself.
But that is also as a little flaw, because... Oh, well, she could have moved him somewhere, so no, never mind.
Yeah, and one of the things she said to disprove this was, how could I have done that? I'm not drenched at all.
Yeah.
I've never been drenched in rain.
Yeah, I remember that.
But this door is much simpler.
This is the climax of the story. No, I was reading chat. For some reason, this part of the story feels very interesting. Reading that way. Okay. We'll see. We don't know yet. by the way?
It was sealed from the inside by the door chain. The window had also been locked from the inside, and the bodies had been inside the room.
Mm-hmm.
This time, it really had been, without exaggeration, a true closed room.
Yes.
That's right. If you include grandfather's disappearance, 3 cases had occurred, and all 3 times, the door had been the point of interest.
Oh, yes, because also with the other thing with the shutter, there was the problem with the key and other yes.
Yeah. There we go. The first was the shutter.
Yes.
There was a key in the servant room, and if we assume someone knew about that, this can't really be called a closed room.
Question, because I don't remember if that happened. Did we get an explanation for the, I'll call it magic circle, even if it's not a circle of this time, or not yet?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet, okay.
The next was the door sealed by the receipt. However, Aunt Natsuhi entered that room. So if grandfather had left through the window, or been thrown out, she would have been able to lock the window before escaping.
Yes.
Or, like my theory, grandfather could have hidden until the receipt was gone and left the room later. God damn it.
That's okay,
Basically,
don't worry.
This door can be defeated with a handful of desperate tricks.
Yes. One could argue with some of that stuff, but yeah, possible, not impossible, possible, but improbable, let's say.
It's desperate is a good word for it.
Yeah. Very improbable.
In that sense, you really can't call this one a closed room either.
Mm-hmm. But this time it's very likely a closed room.
Yeah. And now, we have the door sealed with the door chain. Finally, we have to give up. The window, the door, everything had been locked.
One could say, though, that, I mean, it's really, really thrown there, but one could have used, like, something to close the chain, like, an item to close the chain from outside. Kind of far-fetched, in my opinion, but still...
Still kind of desperate, but...
Yeah, still kind of desperate, but not completely impossible, let's say.
Yeah. It was a perfect closed room. The first hadn't been a closed room because everyone could be suspected. The second hadn't been a closed room because Aunt Natsuhi could be suspected. But this time, no one can be suspected. This was a perfect closed room because the door chain formed a seal that blocked everyone equally well.
なら、犯人は室内に入らずに犯行に及んだ。
Beatrice's portrait beside George while saying this is perfect.
It's like, yeah, I wonder what it was.
I wonder. I wonder.
She's like the thing. No, imagine if the painting was moving, if she was like there sipping tea or something.
Aww.
Like, yes,
nice.
very interesting.
Yes, very interesting. Go on.
Gone. I wonder what it was. Okay, carry out the crime without entering the room.
何らかの方法で。
確かにチェーンである以上、人が通れるほどは開けなくても、多少の隙間を開けることができる。
Well, replace the chain. No, like you can use like come si dice gancio in inglese? Angie, Ofia, aiutami.
Oh god. Wait.
I forgot the English word. Sorry.
Wait, I'm going to look it up.
Uh,
Hook.
Yes, you could use like a long hook to reattach the chain from outside if it's bended in the correct way. Kind of far-fetched. Yes, it could be very, very hard to do also. I've seen it in other media though, something like that. So one could say that it's not completely impossible.
Well, let's remember that we are basically facing a possible witch, so we could employ every single desperate method that we can think about.
Now here I'm thinking in the more realistic way possible. I'm not including magic. I'm not including any kind of that type of trick.
No. Great.
If he, like a skilled burglar, yes, exactly. One could also argue that you could use, if it's metal, you could even use magnets. If you have a strong magnet, you could maybe reattach it somehow.
Nice. Yeah, I
It
think
could be
so.
an idea.
Yeah.
So if you have a strong magnet, you can like reposition the chain in a way that it glues back. So not impossible, but still there has to be a magnet somewhere in the house, or else it wouldn't be possible. Or a way to make that kind of hook that could close back the door again. So yes, it is very desperate, very far-fetched, but not completely impossible. By the way, the only other thing that could be possible is that the opening of the door is very small. Maybe someone very, very small could pass through, and the only one that's probably small enough here is Maria, but I don't think that she killed Eva or Hideyoshi, because like she's 9 and those are two adults.
Well,
yes, okay.
they knew Maria, so they had no reason to not to trust her, and also Butler asked Maria to prove him Beatrice exists.
Yes. No, I mean that she physically entered there and killed the two of them. I don't think she's strong enough to...
No, I don't think
physically...
so, but I was joking because technically...
No.
Technically,
Yeah, technically yes, but what I mean... Could you imagine? Still, yes, but that's the only other possibility, but I don't think that's realistic.
ノックして顔を覗かせたところを襲うとか。
And how did he go back on the bed and in the shower? I mean...
いや、甘いか。
甘いよな。エヴァおばさんの遺体が扉のすぐそばだったなら、
Yeah.
それも考えたぜ。だが、
Hypnosis?
部屋の奥のベッドの上。
Hypnosis is also not real in that sense. So, if you think realistically, of course, every thinking I'm doing right now is like magic not real, witch not real, all that stuff not real.
しかも、
Good.
秀吉おじさんはバスルームだった。チェーンの隙間からでは姿を見ることもできねえし、手を伸ばすこともできねえ。ちくしょう。全然ダメだぜ。さっぱりだ。
Something was stuck in softly at my sleeve.
I guess it's a little kid.
Yes,
Of
it
course.
was Maria.
Yeah. Of course, with that face. Yeah, I knew it. I knew this was gonna happen.
満足。何
Of
There we
course.
go.
Of course.
バトラは親族の誰かを疑うのが嫌だから犯人はベアトリーチェであってほしいと願ったよ。
There we go.
だからベアトリーチェは叶
See?
えた。バトラが言った通り、絶対に人間には無理なことをして、 バトラに魔女の存在を信じさせて
She,
くれた。
I honestly, more than his wish, I think she did that in spite of him, just because she. Because, oh yes, you don't believe in me? Take that. Ha.
Yes.
なのにわがまま。
How selfish. Okay.
あいつ
Oh. Oh. She got slapped again?
No, not really slapped.
Oh, tapped.
I tapped
Okay.
Maria, who was laughing unpleasantly on the head with my fist. It's literally an anime
Ah.
bonk.
Yeah.
叶えてくれてありがとうよ。今のはその礼と。不謹慎な時に笑ったことへの教育的指導だ。
Oh.
それより教えやがれ。エヴァおばさんたちの部屋の扉にも。また怪しげ
There we
な気が
go.
する。あれもまた魔法陣なのか。
Still laughing though. I didn't. It couldn't be a tunnel because it's on a first floor, so it can't be a tunnel.
あれは特に覚えやすい特徴的な形なんだから、あのくらい知っててほしいね。
It could be a secret passage though, but it could be because we know there's like secret rooms and stuff like that, so it could be. Offy vibing.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
あいて
Again.
知らねえから花を持たせてやってんだ。ごちゃごちゃ言わねえで解説しろい。
バトラは暴力的だね。あんまり意地悪すると教えないよ。あいて。言うよ、このげんこつ男。あれは月の一の魔法陣だよ。
The first magic circle of the moon.
何の意味がある？その魔法陣のご利益は書かれてるヘブライ語の意味は？
記されているのは旧約聖書詩編第107編の16節。主は聖堂の扉を破り、鉄の栓抜きを打ち破ってくださいました。
Oh, okay. It's to traverse the door, the closed door,
魔
probably.
法陣の効用は2つ。1つはいかなる方法によって閉ざされた扉でも開
Yeah,
くことができ
Of
る。
okay.
course.
そりゃ便利な魔法だぜ。つまり
That's convenient.
魔法の力に頼らなきゃ開けぬ密室の扉っていう。もう一つの効用は？
開かぬ扉を八方塞がりの事態に見立て、扉を開く。難解な事態の時に用いることで、それまで思いつきもしなかった解決策を与えてくれるんだよ。平たく言うと、観察力や洞察力、ひらめきや直感を授けてくれるんだね。ベアトリーチェはバトラごとき人間風情に、この
I see, I was right.
って挑発してるんだよ。
She's trying to
That's
provoke
very
him.
Beatrice.
Trying to...
Yes.
There's no way little humans like Butter could figure out the teaser was open. Yes.
Yes. 見た。
よーし、もう黙れご苦労。
Good work, so now shut up.
その魔女の挑戦、受けてやら。
マリアちゃん、この世に魔女も悪魔も存在しない。父さんと母さんはそれが僕のよく知る人間なのか。でもそのどちらであっても必ず人間なんだ。
しかしどうやって、せいぜい10センチ程度しか開かない扉の隙間からどうやったら室内の2人を。
それにしても耐え難い匂いです。一体何事なのですか？
Yeah, we still don't know what the stench is.
Yeah. Kanon and Kumasawa, who had gone on ahead, realized the smell wasn't coming from the kitchen even before they arrived there. This was because they noticed an even thicker wave of stench rising up from the stairs leading to the basement, which they passed on their way to the kitchen.
Okay.
ボイラー室。またボイラーの調子
Oh
が悪い
no,
んでしょう
someone
か。
was cooked to death.
The stairs led to an underground boiler room.
Kill like a lobster.
The mansion's boiler was old and in poor condition. Both of them had witnessed the problem with the boiler on several occasions, but they had never smelled the boiler belching out a stench like this before.
Someone's dead here.
Bam! The thing they heard from the basement was definitely a sound of a door closing.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this down.
Kumasawa had phrased it as a question, but she already knew it couldn't be anything else.
Okay, wait one moment. Okay, no, I don't know then.
Kumasawa was so surprised at the sound that her knees gave way yet again as she cowered. After all, at that very moment, no one could have been in the boiler room.
Could have been Kinzo. For
Could
what we
be.
know.
Just a few seconds ago, everyone had crowded together around Eva and Hideyoshi's room. So who caused the sound of a door closing just now?
And also, if it was someone that was there, they would have crossed him and crossed that person at least.
After taking a second to sort out the situation, Canon ran down towards the basement. Since they'd heard the sound of a door closing just now, and there was no sign of anyone coming up the stairs, the person who'd closed the door had to be inside the boiler room now.
Mm-hmm.
If the boiler room had been at the end, Canon wouldn't have rushed in so hastily.
Also, it's not at the end?
But Canon was a servant, so he knew. There were two entrances to the boiler room. One that opened to the mansion, and one that opened to the courtyard. If he didn't chase them now, they might slip away. Kumasawa reached the same conclusion long after Canon did. But she couldn't let him go alone. If the thing in the boiler room was the culprit, an opponent who had easily killed 6 adults in the first murder, then no matter how Canon confronted them, he wouldn't be a match. Of course, with his argument, even if Kumasawa joined him, it wouldn't change anything.
Yes.
At any rate, after a delay, Kumasawa decided that she mustn't let Canon go alone, and she rushed down the stairs.
Oh, it's the boiler sound. Okay, I was like, what the heck is that? Okay.
At the time, Canon was already in the boiler room. The boiler room's characteristic damp heat tormented him. It had always been an unpleasantly smelly and hot place.
Yeah, it makes sense. Probably very damp.
And on top of that, the room was full of that horrible stench, which made Canon feel like he was going to be sick.
Oh, ew.
There was no doubt that this room was the source. In that case, Canon should have been searching for where the smell was coming from. However, Canon kept gazing straight forward as he grabbed a hatchet from a tool shelf just off to the side of the room, the door.
Wait, my eye is twitching probably because my glasses are dirty. One moment. And the camera cannot register the eye movement very well. That's probably why. Let me clean them. There we go. Also, sometimes it probably looks like I'm closing my eyes just because I'm looking down.
He hadn't stretched out his hand because it wanted a hatchet. He had wanted to grab a weapon, any weapon. Why? Canon gazed into the darkness where the naked light bulb couldn't pierce. Then he answered.
ルーレットは数字と赤黒にかけて配当を競い合う。
Where are you going now, Canon? I'm not really getting it, but okay.
赤か黒かのようなリスクの低い賭けはその程度の配当しか与えられない。
The words coming from Canon's mouth were swallowed up by the darkness. That darkness suddenly started to swirl, glittering.
Oh, butterflies. Okay.
I'm not fangirling. It was such a fantastical scene.
What's this sound?
Golden sparkling butterflies that hid in the shadows all over the boiler room. Flapped their wings, twinkling beautifully, and gathered in the darkness, disappearing. Canon continued speaking, directing his words at the darkness as it swallowed the butterflies up. But as the butterflies gathered in the darkness, they, perhaps, probably, no, they would certainly laugh. But Canon continued to speak without faltering in the slightest.
逆により的中率の低いかけ方をすればそのリスクに比例した配
This is
当を与え
the
る。
thing that also Kinzo was talking about.
Yes.
親方様は天文学的なリスクを的中できることを奇跡と呼び、
Yeah. Exactly what it said.
その結果得られる天文学的な配当を魔法と呼んでいた。親方様とお前がどんな魔法を求めてルーレットに挑んでいるのか、そんなことには興味ない。しかしお前は忘れている。ルーレットには赤でも黒でもない目が出る。
Oh, it's the zero.
忘れている。
Yeah.
Roulette has a special pocket called Zero, which means that the house takes everything in certain variants of the game.
Mm-hmm.
This means that all of the coins bet on the table will be swept up, just as though everyone has forfeit.
僕は一つだけ心に決めていた。もしシャノンが殺されて僕が生き残るようなことがあったなら、この身を投げ出してお前のルーレットを全て台無しにしてやろうと。
Whoa.
これは親方様が決めたルールでも、ましてやお前が決めたルールでもない。このルールは僕が作った。僕はもう家具じゃない。
Finally.
お前のルーレットのゼロなんだ。
This is a very protagonist moment, I have to say.
Canon's face twisted with humiliation. It was clear that his defiance against his own weaknesses was being ridiculed somehow.
Oh, did we drink water? Yes, I did like 3 seconds ago, honestly.
Canon's brow creased even further, and a fierce expression that he'd never shown to anyone appeared on his face. The hand grasping the hatchet was shaking. His sweat became drops, which slid downward. It was clear that the emotion causing Canon's hand to shake wasn't just anger. However, Canon suppressed that emotion.
僕はもうお前の言葉に惑わされたりはしない。悪魔のルーレットはこれでおしまいだ。地獄にてさらに1000年。次の召喚者を待つがいい。ベアトリーチェ！
Ooh.
When Canon raised the hatchet and tried to dive into the darkness definitely sneered. It sneered at that courage as if it was vulgar, lazy, futile, and meaningless.
Okay. What is this sound still? Huh?
Canon, his hatchet still held aloft. Couldn't take another step after that. With a clang, the hatchet that he'd been grasping fell and rolled on the floor. And following that, with a pair of thuds, Canon's knees hit left, then right. That hand, which looked like it was trying to catch the sky, now that the hatchet had been dropped, gradually lowered, landing on his chest.
Oh.
Then, the other hand did the same.
Oh. Oh, okay. I mean...
Right there, a handle with a demon-shaped design was buried in his chest. The same type of weapon that had been stabbed into Eva and Hideyoshi's foreheads was in Kano's chest. Kano was curled up in anguish, fresh blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. It was makeup to extreme for Kano's white skin.
Oh.
Around this scene, the glittering gold butterflies danced through the darkness, mesmerizing. It was a beautiful, beautiful dance. A funeral march of tribute, ridicule, and contempt for a single boy's self-sacrifice.
It's like a useless sacrifice, though.
Canon had already been prepared for his own death. But although he could do nothing but accept the death he had received, he attempted one last measure of resistance.
It is kind of a tongue twister. I can see it.
Yeah.
Accept the death he had received. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
He grasped the handle of the weapon, sticking into his chest with both hands. And gritting his teeth with an acute, unearthly pain, he pulled it out. For only a moment, a bright red spray gushed out.
Oh, it's blood.
It
Okay.
made an pleasant bloop sound.
Ew.
It probably resembled the sound of Canon's soul as it was sucked into the swamp of the dead.
Canon-san?
Kumasawa screamed at the incomprehensible sight in front of her. Canon was lying in a pool of blood. Kumasawa's heart was a complete mess. Ah, what a horrible fate. He wouldn't have been killed if I had been with him. Ah, what incredible luck. If I had been with him, I might have been killed too. As she screamed, her expression was filled with complete confusion, and all of the muscles of her face were pulled up, almost as though she was smiling while crying. But no one could have made fun of an expression like this.
Because she is like scared because he just died, and also relieved because she could have been there and dead with him at the same time. Okay.
Yeah, a mess of emotions altogether.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
The first one to dash in was Natsuhi, holding the rifle. Butler and Genji dashed in after her.
I know I said it last time, but it's still surprising to see someone holding a hunting gun in the right way.
The correct
honestly,
way.
the correct way. It's like you never see it holded like that.
Normally, they probably would have started discussing the origin of that violent stench filling the boiler room. But after they saw Kanon, who was lying on the ground as if he were drowning in an ocean of his own blood, the stench wasn't important anymore.
We still don't know what the stench about. Yeah, I mean, judging by the quantity, if the quantity of blood is this one, I don't think Nanjo can do anything. But
No.
yeah.
Natsuhi realized that even though Kanon was on the verge of death, he was still conscious, so she sent Genji to get the doctor. The quantity of the blood that you see on the CG is a random amount, to be honest. It's just a CG that they use whenever there's blood in the scene.
Still, he got like pierced in his chest, and they basically described a lot of blood coming out of it when he extracted
I agree.
the weapon. So I think it's probably not the correct amount, but I think it's like to give you an idea of the thing, because when it was like less blood, the puddle was smaller. There was like another amount with smaller, with less blood than that, if I recall. So
I remember like splatters.
There's probably different splatters, blood splatters. Images.
Assuming how much blood there is in this game.
So it's not probably a precise amount, but it's like here is a little bit of blood, here is like a lot of blood, because it's the entire screen. So it's just to give you an idea.
Natsuhi, holding the rifle aloft, faced the darkness in the center of the boiler room and shouted.
Who else but a certain witch?
そちらから出てこないなら容赦なく撃ちます。
ライトだ。おばさん、照らすぜ。
Butler, thinking quickly, took a large flashlight from the tool shelf alongside the door and used its light to cut through the darkness Natsuhi was glaring into. But the light only shone on mechanical-looking piping and a door. The door hadn't been left open. No, wait. The door had been left open, a small crack. What is this sentence?
No.
And it was obvious.
Okay, no. It makes sense. It's kind of strange way of saying it, but in English you can say the door had been left open a small crack. Basically, the door was open only a little bit. It's
it's weird.
It's like not. It's not textbook English, but you can say like that if you want to sound fancy.
Okay. And it was obvious that someone had left through there in a hurry.
夏日おばさん、あの扉はどこへ？
源氏、あの扉はどこに通じているのですか？
Courtyard.
中庭です。
Yeah, we know.
The servants know.
Yeah. No, we know because we have been told earlier.
Yes. Butler let out a war cry as he slammed into the door. Cool air from outside suddenly rushed in. There were some thin, rough stairs leading up. Butler ran up them, shouting.
Also,
Natsui was also running up the stairs, chasing after Butler.
Yeah, also Natsui got a gun, so yeah. It's like the only good weapon they got.
They were in the courtyard. The courtyard of the mansion had been built strictly for lighting purposes, so it wasn't a very elegant place.
Lighting purposes? What does that even mean?
Just wait. Go on one, just to see if they explain.
They don't, but whatever. Probably not
Oh,
important.
maybe to just let in light?
Could be.
Maybe.
Probably
maybe...
because okay, no. If I had to guess, Windows. If you don't leave an open space, there's gonna be darkness. So that's probably why.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
Because it was surrounded on all sides. The air was calm and completely undisturbed, even though they could hear the sound of strong winds. There was only the gentle, sorrowful rain. As he ran through the cold and scattered raindrops, dashing up the stairs into the courtyard, the butler looked in every direction.
But nothing.
Of course, the odds of him finding a suspicious silhouette just standing around nonchalantly were pretty much zero. Butler spun, looking all around. He turned again and again. He kept spinning until he almost lost his sense of direction. He prayed that he would see the culprit somewhere in this scenery. But there was no chance. All he saw as he spun was more and more of the mansion's heartless walls and windows. Furthermore, there were 2 entrances into the mansion from the courtyard, and neither of them were locked. Because the courtyard couldn't be entered from outside the mansion, the doors had been built without locks.
Yeah.
He didn't know which one they had left through.
It's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. He had to give up. Butler pounded the wall with his fist, swearing.
バトラ君、一人で先走ってはダメです。バトラ君。
Butler pressed his forehead against the wall, which he scratched at with his fingernails as he cried.
畜生畜生畜生エヴァおばさんに秀吉おじさん、さらにカノン君かよ。6人も殺しやがった。
6? We're under 6 already?
Yes. Oh, maybe.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning,
Oh,
you
okay,
killed.
okay. No, okay. Now it makes sense.
ふざけるなエヴァおばさんも秀吉おじさんもカノン君とは昨日会ったばかりだが、きっとこれから仲良くなれたと思うぜ。なんで殺したんだ。どうして人ってのはな、殺しちまったらな。
Yeah, we know battle people die when they're killed.
They are killed.
タケノコみてえにひょいひょい生えてきちゃ来ねえんだぞ。どうして殺すんだよ。どうして
Butler was a boy who could understand the feelings of pain and regret in a person's heart.
Okay, one moment. I need to go to the bathroom. Just 1 second. I'll be back in
Okay.
in a bit.
In a
pixel bit. Of course.
We are going to let Butler cry for a second here. Oh my god. But who wouldn't cry in a situation like this? For 1 second, I thought Beatrice was going to come up, but it's too early. It's too early. I got really excited there, but unfortunately, of course, Beatrice needs to be fashionably late or just in time, depending on how you see her. In any case, I can't wait. And every single time it appears that the game is right there, ready to present her to you. And the first time was just when they were talking about Beatrice in front of her portrait. And I remember Prince going like, "Oh my god, what if she just appears there?" And of course she didn't, right? And then there was the scene in the kitchen where all of the servants and Maria were there going like, "Oh, butler, why can't you see her? Why is your wavelength so different and so dumb that you can't understand magic? How can you not see her? She's right behind you." And of course, even then, she didn't show up. But the atmosphere was there. It very much looked like she was just going to sprung up from nowhere, and even more right now. But the game, of course, said, "Nah, too early. No Beatrice for you."
Yeah, what were you talking about?
The thing that the game is teasing Beatrice to us from the beginning.
Yes, I know.
But every single time.
And I honestly ate the game for. I was actually gonna say it when I was coming, and I honestly ate the game for this. But I'm also, and at the same time, it makes me very involved because I want to see her and I want the heck. So yeah, I kind of hate it, but in a good way. I don't know how to explain that.
No. It's well written. That's the point.
No, and the thing is, you cannot even be angry at that because it's so well written that I'm like, what the fuck?
Let me see her.
I wanna see her. You cannot tease me like that. But yes, apparently they can. So, I also wanted to say. Oh yeah, that's what I want to say. Canon wasn't. It's not in the epitaph. In the thing.
Are you sure?
It's not here.
I see him.
Go to the chest and kill.
There we go.
But. Oh, because it's not a different day.
Exactly.
Now it makes sense.
This is a bit of how can I say it's a bit deceiving, but it's of course
because Twilight is both dawn and dusk.
Right.
So yes, it actually makes sense now. The first Twilight of okay, those who remain shall tear apart those who are close. Yes, because they were arguing. Yeah, it was you. No, it was you. It was you. Yeah, that thing. And then those who remain shall praise my noble name, because at this point they were saying, yes, who else it couldn't be in a part here. The door was closed and everyone. No, wait. No, wait. I've 6 sacrifice. Those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close. I don't get this part then. Second Twilight. When did this happen? Is it because? Is it when? Eva and Hideyoshi went in their room on their own? Is it this thing? Because you could interpret it also in a different way.
This is just all a huge interpretation, to be honest.
Yeah, because you could because you can read it like those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close. You can read it like the two person that are close the two person that are close. Take them apart. Take the two apart. But you could also say the two person that are close, put them on their own.
Yeah.
So it could be read in two different ways. So yeah. No, I was at the bathroom. I didn't crash. I froze. That's why. And then those who remain shall praise my noble name, because... Yes. But go
Oh my
ahead.
god, who else could have done that? If not Beatrice.
Yeah. Go ahead and kill. That's because the Eva and Hideyoshi were killed on the... on their... I mean, the thing were on their head.
Yes.
Go to the chest and kill axe on Canon chest. Weapon on Canon chest, because it wasn't axe. It was the same thing as Eva and Yoshi. Same stake, yes. And then the other, we don't know. Stomach, knee, leg. Okay, on the 9th one, we shall revive and none shall be less alive. This rhymes also. Okay, now it makes sense. Now I actually makes sense. I thought we were a lot more behind, but actually we are like at half.
Yep.
We already read this, yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
With all of his strength. Natsuhi, who had always thought of Butler as a frank person, was a little surprised to find he had this delicate side. And at the same time, she understood how easily hurt the heart of a young person could be, so she held him.
あなたもジョージ君もマリアちゃんもジェシカも私が絶対に守ります。
Honestly, Natsuhi here, it's like, honestly, the Kinzo was right, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
母として、そして後宮家の代表として。
Butler, after sobbing into Natsuhi's chest for a while, wiped his tears with a bitter smile, as though he had been like that the whole time, and tried to appear as though he'd cried more than enough already.
とにかく一度下に戻りましょう。犯人を探すより自分たちの身を守る方が最優先です。明日になれば船が来る。そうすれば警察がやってきて、すべてを白日のもとにさらし出してくれるでしょう。
I feel like tomorrow the police and the boat are not gonna arrive, but okay. Like, it cannot end like that, so...
Do you hear the death flags, like, popping?
Yeah, no, yeah, like, this game has been a continued death, like, oh yeah, now I'm very happy, nothing horrible can ruin this moment. Nice.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna give this ring to my beloved one. She dies.
She died.
So, yeah, at this point... This is like a compilation of death flags, so... Top 10 anime death flags.
When the seagulls cry, the crime will be solved.
Yes, okay.
But, for some reason, Butler felt a slight sense of uneasiness, as if the seagulls will never cry again.
Hi, Hile, welcome.
Hi. That couldn't be true. When the typhoon passes, surely the lively seagulls will return to the harbor again.
Maybe the typhoon is still the witch doing.
I returned to the boiler room along with Aunt Natsuhi and told everyone weakly that we hadn't found anything. We heard that Dr. Nanjo and George Aniki had carried Kanon-kun to the servant room. The servant room had a first aid kit and a sink, and could apparently function as a nurse's office.
I mean, it was basically... It's a piercing weapon in his heart. So can he even survive that?
We'll see. Kumasawa-san and Jessica had accompanied them. Stains from Kanon-kun's blood remained on the floor. Judging by the large amount of blood lost and the ruthless shape of the weapon that had fallen carelessly through the ground, I figured that Dr. Nanjo's treatment would probably end in pain.
Also, it did the number one thing that you shouldn't do, and it's to
take out
the weapon. Yes, because most of the time it just held everything together as it is.
Together.
And you lose a lot of blood when you take it out.
That weapon was doubtlessly the same type that had been struck in Anteva and Uncle Hideyoshi's foreheads. But wait, isn't the demonic design on the handle a little different? There seem to be small differences in that part.
We haven't seen it, so we don't know.
Trust. Trust the narration.
I just trust your the description, yes.
Just trust the narration is right. Still, as far as their overall shape was concerned, the weapons were all of the same type.
Okay.
The way that seemed brutal, we'd left the weapons stuck into Onteva and Uncle Hideyoshi to preserve the crime scene.
Makes sense.
So this was the first time we were able to have a perfect view of the entire weapon.
Maybe don't touch it also.
And as we had expected, as we had expected, the weapon was not bladed like a knife, but shaped like an ice pick. Or rather, a thin stake. And it had a spiral-shaped pattern, sort of like a drill.
Of course, it has been Gunnar Laligan since the start.
It looked like something that might be driven into the hearts of human sacrifices in some demonic ritual. Including the handle, it was 25 centimeters long.
Not as big as I could have imagined, actually.
No, but they were talking about how small it was and how hard it was to pierce someone with that.
Yeah.
Half of that was the stake-shaped part, which was stained with deep red blood. The length of the blood-stained part made it clear just how deeply it must have penetrated into Kanon's chest.
Yes. Also, I was thinking more than since the handle is that short, it sounds more. It's like at least it's how I imagine it in my head, because I don't have much. I don't have really an image apart the one we saw earlier, but it was very distant and not very focused on that. It's more like it's something that could have been shot from something else, like oh god, I forgot the word. Balestra.
I don't know the word in English.
I know it. It's in Minecraft. God damn it.
Crossbow.
Wow. Thank you. Crossbow. I was like, oh, we said that. Okay, crossbow. Something that could have been shot from a crossbow or something like that. Something like a bullet or an arrow or something that even the shape, if you think about it, it's aerodynamic.
Yeah.
So it could be something like that. I don't know. It could be thrown or like shot, or one could say it's like a weapon that has been thrown with magic or whatever. It sounded something like that.
I have found the manga page of this exact scene that we are reading.
Yeah.
And there is an image of the stake if you want.
Yeah, sure. I would like to see
Just reading through so that I know that it's the exact one.
Are we, or maybe we're gonna see it right now?
I don't remember CGs of the stake, to be honest. This is why I looked it up.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's the same one that we just read, so I'm going to copy it, and there you go. I don't remember CGs of the stake. This is why I thought I looked it up.
Oh, it kinda got an handle though. Now that I see it properly.
In the anime is also slightly different. But this is the kind of shape.
But see, it's like you see the shape. It's very pointy.
So
I mean, yes, it's a steak, but it's
the anime
like
one. I found the anime one. So there's not even direct.
Oh, it's completely different. This one.
It's
So yeah,
completely
this one
different.
does the one in the anime doesn't even have a handle. So
A drill. No, it's not even a drill.
it's not even a drill.
About.
I think the one on the manga is more similar to the one we see in the CG.
Yeah,
but the hand, if I recall, the handle of the one in the CG was shorter. So it's probably not very important how it actually is.
No, I think it's just
but
generally.
Yeah. The thing, what I'm thinking right now is the killer was in a distance, hiding in the darkness, and Canon was hit by this thing, and there was no description of someone thrusting a weapon in his chest.
No.
No one stabbing him. It was like
we didn't even
it was basically like he was there, and then suddenly something struck him. Not someone stabbed him, not someone attacked him.
Exactly.
It was nothing, and then something is in his chest. So it sounds like it's something that can be shot or thrown or whatever. Could have been something being thrown from a crossbow. It could be, or thrown in a way. It could be anything. Sounds like it's some sort of bullet, let's call it. Not really a real gun bullet, but something that has been thrown in some way. Also, if you think about it, it kinda, the one from the manga especially, kinda looked like a kunai.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda. But it's a drill.
Kinda.
But it is...
It's a drill.
Just to get
a drill steak.
It's a drill kunai.
Drill steak kunai.
Yeah, so whatever.
Madame Natsuhi and the rest didn't even look at the weapon, and instead stood in front of the incinerator, where the terrible, horrible stench was emanating from. They must have dragged it out. Dragged out that thing which had been burning in the furnace.
For a second I read which in
No.
in the other sense, and I was confused. Okay.
It was still smoldering and kept sending out dense waves of that awfully unpleasant smell. Genji-san and Maria stared down at it. Aunt Natsuhi probably couldn't stand to look directly at it.
Of course, Maria doesn't get any problem like that.
She kept shaking her head back to it. Her back to it.
Ew, must be disgusting.
I thought nothing could surprise me after everything that's happened. But this is...
Now sound effect.
I stood there for a while, moaning, with a rising urge to vomit. The true source of that unearthly stench was a scorched corpse that had been cooking inside of the incinerator.
What the fuck?
The clothes, the surface of the body, and the hair were all hideously burned.
The clothes?
Yes. That grotesque corpse was in a state where not even the face, nor the age, not even the gender could be guessed at. But when I thought about it calmly, I realized that a corpse appearing at this time could only be one person.
It's Kinzo. Yeah.
It was grandfather, who had disappeared that morning, and whose whereabouts had been unknown.
Of course.
おそらく親方様だと思います。
私も同感です。
Cooked grandpa.
このようなお姿でお亡くなりになるとは。
I mean, he asked for it basically. So
Yes, still unpleasant.
I bet he's very happy that his wife will kill him at this point. So honestly, he honestly said, "I am in the mix. So even if I see you for like 1 second, you kill me, I'm happy like that." So I bet it was.
That's Kinzo for you.
でもこの死体本当にじい様だって保証はこうも黒焦げじゃ性別さえも想像つかないって。
Who else could it be?
バトラ君、足をご覧なさい。
Aunt Natsuhi, with her handkerchief over her mouth and eyes averted, pointed and told me to look at the burned corpse feet. Huh?
両足の指が6本あるのがお分かりになりませんか？
Kinzo had 6 toes?
Those.
Really?
Yes.
That hasn't been said?
No, this
Okay.
is the first time that they say this.
本当だ。
Just as Genji-san had said, there were 6 toes on each foot. Each individual toe had looked so normal in its line that I hadn't noticed.
親方様はお生まれの時から両足の指がそれぞれ、そして故に親方様は後宮家の最高を託された。
Because of that?
後宮家には昔から生まれつき多子症の方が多かったそうです。多分遺伝的なものでしょう。
Yes, it is. It's like genetic, but yes.
Polydactyly.
Yes.
Literally means many fingers. Because of a little mistake by God, when the person is born, one of their toes or fingers splits into 2, and the total number increases. But a big deal isn't usually made of polydactyly in the world at large. That's because it isn't a disease, just something people are born with.
Yeah, it's like nothing, especially in the toes. It's not very important.
So while they are still babies, at about the time they turn 1 year old, they can be taken to the hospital and given surgery to make them normal. Even a child with polydactyly can be treated before they become aware, so they might not even remember it themselves. By the way, it seems that there is a possibility for this to occur in 1 out of 2,000 babies. So even though it's not usually seen, it isn't that rare at all. Speaking of which, I think Uncle Hideyoshi mentioned something to me long ago. Something about how even...
Toyotomi
Hideyoshi, the man who unified Japan at the end of the Sengoku period, had 6 fingers on one hand.
Yes. This is true. This is real.
Ah.
This is real. I know that because I'm a writer, but yes, it's true.
Nice. According to Natsuhi, among the many Ushiromiya family heads, the ones most praised for their wisdom all had polydactyly.
This thing in Japan, sometimes it has been seen like a sign from the gods or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you're the predestined one, or the one that will achieve many things, stuff like that. It's like, of course, in the past they didn't know about stuff like it has been seen like a sign. Oh yeah, this one is a special baby because he got one more finger than anyone else. So It
Yeah.
must be a sign. It's the god saying to us, "Oh, this one is special." Stuff like that. It makes sense.
Because of that, when grandfather was born, his relatives were all excited at the thought that he might become another wise leader.
Basically.
And when the leading relatives all died in the Great Kanzo earthquake, it was apparently urged that grandfather should be the one to restore the family, because of the auspicious sign of his birth. If grandfather hadn't disliked his position as the head so much, the sixth toe probably would have been pretty lucky for him. Come to think of it, I've heard about some country where it's believed the people with polydactyly should be treated as gods and revered.
I'm not 100% sure because I don't remember precisely, but I think in the Mayan or something like that, people was with extra fingers has been treated by a god, and there's like signs of that.
Oh,
I'm not. I wouldn't like find anything about that, but don't take my word as granted. But if I recall,
okay. I can hear your brain thinking non mettere la mano sul fuoco.
Yes, because I say, how do you say that in English? There's a way of saying that, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But still, there is basically a way of saying that in English, but I don't remember how it is.
Wait.
It's not one-to-one though. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't know why.
It's
just
not important.
something like I would bet X on it. I wouldn't bet X on it, but I'm not even sure.
Like don't bet on it or something like that. It's something similar to that. I don't really remember, but that's not important.
But the way that we say it in Italian is very how can I say?
Hi Web. Hi
this
Web. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Did you redirect here? Web. Hi, I saw you were live earlier. You were playing Mario 64. Love Umineko. Yeah, it's my first time playing. It's also my friend here's favorite game. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Another Umineko fan. Let's go.
My first time playing this, and yeah. So I never played it, but this one I'm really liking it. I'm really enjoying this, and also I can play detective, and I like it. Hi, Lopez, welcome.
Pixel.
Yes.
Take a second to talk to the chat. I'm going to the bathroom for.
That's okay. Don't worry. Let's go.
BRB.
That's good. So yeah, did you read? Is it already reg? I don't have notification, and for some, I don't have notification on that. But if it is, just tell me, people. By the way, thank you for passing by, in keys. How are you guys doing? You were playing Mario 64, if I recall. I think you redirected here because let me check. Honestly, but yes. Oh. Video started. I didn't mean to do that. Whatever. I wanted to say something, but I forgot. God damn it. Oh, yeah. So, we are at the point, for those who just arrived, we're at the point where basically Canon just died. Oh, yes, it's a redirect. Thank you for the redirect, Web. Thank you. I see it now. So yeah, we basically know now that Ganon died, and I was thinking the fact that that weapon that has been used both on Eva and on Hideyoshi, and now also on Canon, it kind of looked like it's some sort of thing that has been thrown. What chapter are we in? I think this is still the first one. I don't know. Basically, right now, Canon died right now, like 2 seconds ago. I mean, it's not dead yet because he basically was in the boiler room, and it's not dead, but it's basically telling me that it's basically dead. It's getting treated by Nanjo right now, but it's not really. Nanjo, welcome back. It's not really. It's probably in vain because a lot of blood has been
canon.
Has been outside of canon. Canon was bleeding a lot. That's not supposed to happen. I mean, he basically went to the witch and said, "Hey, I'ma kill you," and witch said,
Nah.
How about no?" No, even better. Which played the Uno reverse card, and so like, no,
Call
you,
an ambulance. Call an ambulance.
but not
but
for
not
me.
for me.
It was basically, I'm gonna kill you now, no you, and then, but yeah, that's basically what happened. So I don't believe Canon is gonna survive. Honestly, a lot of blood. He also removed the weapon from his chest, so yeah. Let's say it's not gonna happen that he survives. The soy blaze against the furniture. Yes, honestly, true, real thought here. Yes, I agree. Do you want me to read, Alfie?
Yes. Yes, if you feel like it.
That's okay.
Also, we heard the sound, so I think we can read
yes.
Kinzo's.
I completely forgot about that. Characters. Kidzo. And also Canon has been... no.
No, not yet. I thought I heard the
I didn't notice it, but I don't know. Okay, so
maybe
no.
Not yet.
It could have been another sound. This is beside the point. Mystery column a mystery number for a corpse with burning to hide its identity. Yes. But I guess that in grandfather's case, just toasting him wouldn't be enough. Toasting. Toasty. And grandfather's body was not simply burned. Now. Now. Just right now. I heard it. There we go.
Oh my god.
Burning the incinerator with a weapon resembling a nice beak sticking out of his forehead. Oh, okay. Spoiler, yes. The old sorcerer's wish vanished before... The old sorcerer's wish vanished before it could be granted. He always knew that this was one possible result of his risky gamble. Yes, basically we knew. The old sorcerer's wish... Oh, because he didn't see her?
Yep, apparently.
Oh!
Or it means that he wasn't one of the chosen ones.
Yeah.
I mean, his wish was to stay with Beatrice, but he was like, "Oh, it's copium," while inhaling copium. It's okay if I can only see you 1 second, please. Let me see your smile. That
yeah,
was copium,
but at this point, Beatrice doesn't have a body, so he didn't saw her. I mean, all we see were butterflies.
Butterflies, yes.
And basically, they were saying, this is all because Beatrice doesn't have a body and must be... and this is the thing here. The
epitaph
is to resurrect, to revive her, to give her a body. And also... It said, I remember it says here somewhere. No. On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left. So it's not the 9th twilight yet. So the witch is not revived yet.
Nope.
But one moment though.
Yes.
Um,
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for... Where is Kinzo here?
So, we got spoiled a little bit by the character sheet, but at this point, he has a nice pick on his in his head.
But also Hideyoshi and Eva got it.
But on the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close.
Kinda far-fetched. Honestly, you're cheating. This is cheating. It doesn't say anything about killing people here. Or sacrifices. This is cheating. This is not in the rules. Okay?
What are rules for a witch?
Steal. Okay? This thing is supposed to drive me, not to drive me crazy. So, okay. So this is go to the head and kill. The Kinzo is go to the head and kill, and Canon is goes to the chest and kill.
Thank you. Yes.
So now we need the stomach, the knee, and the leg.
Well, Canon is not dead yet.
Do you think he's gonna survive that?
It's unlikely, but what do you know?
I don't think he's gonna survive that, but still. I was saying, grandfather's body was not simply burned. It was just like Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi and the thing that has been stabbed into Canon-kun's chest. One of those demon's eyes peak was stuck into his forehead. Yeah, but that we know.
昨夜の手紙の通りということですか。お父様。さぞやご無念でしょう。
Honestly, I don't think so. But
I don't
okay.
think so. He
I don't
was
think
the
so.
one who gave it away.
Yeah, he asked for this, basically.
Yes.
Natsui-san let her head droop and close her eyes tightly. This room had also become a vital crime scene for us to hand over to the police. It was decided that we would leave grandfather's corpse here and lock the room, sealing it. It isn't clear when grandfather's corpse started burning in the incinerator, since according to Genji, the strength of the flame hadn't been that strong. The body must have started burning a long time ago. So probably at the same time Eva and Hideyoshi had been killed, it could have been. So that the stench could slowly creep out of the furnace and fill the room bit by bit, eventually pouring out and climbing up the staircase. Putting aside whether it was rare or well done, grandfather had been brought out, killed and burned, even though he had started out locked away in the closed room created by this autolock. Okay. There's probably no doubt in this. However, according to Genji-san, the boiler room is usually locked. The possibility that someone outside our group had snuck in and committed the crime was overwhelmingly high, and was also a good chance that this person was walking around with something like a master key, if that thing even exists at this point. After all, the doors and windows through the mansion had been checked. But despite that, the culprit was able to strut around the mansion freely. A master key or a witch? Oh, new music. Does this crime confirm that a 19th person exists? Still that contradiction since they're trying to tout their existence without even showing themselves once. Along with Kiryu-san chessboard theory, I've been using this contradiction to deny the existence of the 19th person. By spinning the chessboard around once more, the very fact that this crime makes it perfectly obvious that a 19th person exists, means that the existence of the 19th person is even less plausible. The most convoluted argument for this, but okay. as long as the 19th person doesn't show themselves in front of us. If the culprit could get grandfather out through the door sealed by the receipt, they could kill Aunt Eva and Uncle Yoshi from the other side of the door sealed by a chain. Then could they possibly go so far as to create a fictional 19th person through strange tricks and devices? We still want to believe that the culprit is among the 18. Then the list of suspects has grown very short. I mean, most of the people is dead right now, so... The four of us kids, Aunt Natsuhi, Genji-san, Kumasawa Bachan, and Dr. Nanjo. One of these people has to be the culprit. We can't be sure of that. Just a second ago we started doubting whether the corpse here was actually grandfather's, right?
Just you, but...
Yeah, but okay. Maybe we can think of the bodies in the same way. For example, the first 6 all had their faces horribly smashed. Some of the bodies kept enough of their faces for us to confirm who they were. But an old bastard, for example, lost his entire face as though the whole thing had been neatly peeled off. We only figured out which body was which by their clothes and surroundings. Okay, you're kind of going in a strange way right now. Did the culprit prepare a fake body beforehand, alter it to make it look like they died, even though they were actually hiding somewhere after committing the crime? And whose body is that then? And also, a real body start decomposing very soon.
Right.
May sound ridiculous, but it wouldn't be an impossible trick to pull off. This is like the most far-fetched thing right now, but okay. It's too early to give in to this 19th person. No, this witch. Oh, it's over.
マリアちゃん、それ以上しげしげと見てはなりません。さあ、バトラ君もカノンの容体も気になりますし、いつまでもこのようなところにはいられません。戻りましょう。
Maria didn't go out with everyone else, but remained in the boiler room. The thing she was staring so fixedly at probably wasn't grandfather's body, but a demon ice pick sticking out of his forehead. It was probably the sort of item that an enthusiast couldn't bear to ignore. I tapped her on the head.
おい、マリア、ベアトリーチェの目的は俺たち全員の命か。
Of course, I was expecting this at this point. See, she's not alive yet. Doesn't have a body. And that we know because also the epitaph.
よくも笑えるもんだぜ。自分だけ蚊帳の外だと思ってるのか？どうして自分の身に危機が迫っていると感じない？
Because yes. I mean,
Fuckboy. Sorry.
because she knows that she's probably in danger, but like she doesn't care or something like that.
どうして怯えない？
ベアトリーチェは約束してくれたもん。
Oh.
マリアは黄金鏡へ連れて行ってもらえるんだよ。
Oh. Okay.
そこはね、しがらみも何もないすべての人たちがずっと一緒にいつまでも優しくし合っていける素敵な場所なんだよ。マリアは楽しみだよ。
Of course, you like Beatrice's fan, number one Beatrice's fan, so 2 probably because of Skinzo, but now you're number 1. But now you're number 1 because Skinzo's kinda dead, so.
その時はもうすぐだもん。
What kind of person is Maria? only know what Maria was like 6 years ago when she was 3. She was once pure and obedient, a good kid. This new Maria 6 years later and the Maria I knew didn't seem to fit together. Just who is she, this witch who called herself Maria? To Maria who obstinately believes in the witch, this series of unsolvable crimes is proof that the witch actually exists. Every time something occurs that would be difficult for a human, it becomes a little harder for the rest of us to not believe in Beatrice. It must be an intense pleasure for Maria to see her relatives, who once firmly denied the witch's existence, start acknowledging that witch existence one by one. Is that why she's in high spirits?
マリア、もう一遍だけ聞く。どうせ答えは同じだろうが、もう一遍だけ聞く。お前は昨日、バラ庭園で手紙をもらった。そいつは誰なんだ？
What answer are you expecting, Butler, at this point?
だからベアトリーチェ、バトラがまだ信じない。
Maria only repeated what she had already said. Maria met with a 19th person, the witch. Was that really a 19th person, or did one of the 18 just get her to say that? All that's certain is that Maria had been with the rest of us constantly, had always had an alibi, and hasn't done anything suspicious. She's simply overjoyed at being made Beatrice's messenger, and certainly isn't the 19th person. Supposedly.
Supposedly.
That's right. One was written in the letter we picked up in Aunt Eva and Uncle Yoshi's room. Aunt Natsui would still have it with her. Oh yeah, we still don't know that yet.
Yes. Very large clock.
Yeah, this time is super large. Honestly, the clock kind of reminded me of Watchmen. Have you ever read the comic?
No.
Basically, if you have the in the original 12 volumes, let's call it, but they're very small. In the back of the cover, there's a clock that with every number becomes more and more close and more covered with blood.
Ah.
And then at the end, in the last number, the first scene is with that clock completely covered in blood. It reattached to that basically.
Nice.
It's actually a cool detail. But it kind of reminds me of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, Canon-kun did not regain consciousness. Oh, we got an... let's see. I heard it now.
Yes.
Found in a bundle with a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of his chest. How presumptuous of lowly furniture like that. Yeah, these are definitely Beatrice's comment. Even though Dr. Nanjo and the rest did all they could to heal him, of course there was very little that could have been done on an island like this without medicine or proper facilities. However, Canon was the only human ever to confront the culprit. If only he could give us some kind of clue. However, at the time they carried Canon away, it was already too late. Yeah, at that that's what I was expecting, honestly.
いえ、無理もないことです。最善を尽くしてくださり、ありがとうございました。
Dr. Nanjo's shirt had been sprayed with a violent spurt of blood, so it was easy to imagine the devotion with which he had tried to save Canon's life up until the last second. Jessica was scratching the corridor, crying softly. She had probably been taking care of Kanun-kun until the moment of his death. Georgianiki tried to approach her with words of comfort, but when Jessica pushed him away, he stopped trying to force her to talk and left her alone. You would have died too.
Yes.
Honestly.
気に病むことはない。仮に一緒だったら、熊沢も襲われていたかもしれん。
Genji, the voice of reason every time.
それに、愚かにも先走ったゆえの自業自得だ。
そんな言い方ってねえぜ。カノン君は犯人の姿を見つけて誘拐に立ち向かったんだ。
Yeah, but honestly, what could have been done?
熊沢さんも一緒だったら、犯人は躊躇して逃げることを選んだかもしれない。
Remember that he killed that person is the same that killed 6 people.
Yes.
So
I'm not sure.
Emotion-filled words that I never thought I'd heard coming from Jessica's mouth tumbled out. Kumasawa, looking truly sorry, could do nothing but hang her head.
ジェシカ、今は言葉をかけるべきじゃない。僕だって。そしてバトラ君もだろう。もう何が何だかわからなくて心が張り裂けそうだよ。
There were tears in Georgianiki's eyes again. Seeing Jessica broke down, crying, probably brought back the pain of losing his parents. I'd done my crying all at once. So I didn't feel like crying anymore. However, I understood how great the pain in their hearts was. Honestly, Butler is holding itself together a lot.
Yes, yes,
But
moments where it breaks down.
Yes,
but that's understandable.
but that's actually, honestly, very understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically saw his parents dead, so yeah. And even basically his mother for the second time, even if he didn't call her mother, Kira was basically the closest thing. Hi, Astra. Thank you for the lurk. And his mother, his real mother, biological mother, died already in the past, so that must have been a lot for him. But at the same time, it's probably driven by the will of getting the culprit. That
Yeah.
Sorry, why you're? Astra, stop saying you're sorry. I'm gonna bonk you. It is understandable at the same time to be focused on trying to find the culprit like that. Yes. But also he got this moment where it's like he's crying and he's can't deal with the stuff anymore. It actually feels very real. There we go.
Oh god.
Yeah, you'll be dead soon, don't you know?
よしてくれよ。そういう慰めはいらねえぜ。
ベアトリーチェは死者も失った愛すらも蘇らせる。
Resurrect the dead? Indian even love that has been
だ
lost.
からきっとすぐに会える。
Remember the epitaph?
Ah, yeah.
そしてきっとみんなで穏やかに過ごせるから。
カノン君を殺したのがマリアに昨日手紙を渡したっていうベアトリーチェなのか。そいつはどこにいるんだよ。どこに隠れてるんだよ。私が見つけて引き裂いてやる。言えよ。知ってるんだろ。犯人の正体を。
I mean, what do you expect she's gonna answer?
She told you.
Yeah.
Yes.
お前は何を知っていて何を隠してるんだ。話しやがれ。
お嬢様、おやめください。
ベアトリーチェはいい
Notice how exists in quotes, probably because Beatrice doesn't have a body right now.
I think so.
畜生ケンジさん離せよマリアが犯人を知ってるしかもそいつは知ってて隠してるんだそして俺たちの内情を伝えて殺しの手引きをしてるに違いないんだぜ
When? She's always with you. When?
Yes.
ジェシカ、静かにしなさい。
Jessica grabbed Maria. Genji tried to stop her, but Jessica could not be calmed. The next thing I heard was the sound of Mansui slapping Jessica's face. Oh, no sound effect. Okay. After that, only Jessica's sorrowful sobbing voice resounded through the hall.
マリアちゃん、僕は君が断じて犯人ではないことを知っている。君はいつも僕たちと一緒にいたし、犯人なんかと通じている時間はなかった。だから聞かせてほしい。君に昨日手紙を渡したベアトリーチェとは誰なんだい？
Although those words seemed kind, they clearly showed that George still had some remaining doubts about Maria. He didn't actually grab at her. However, it felt exactly the same way Jessica did.
兄貴、同じことは俺もさっき聞いたぜ。返事は同じさ。
マリアちゃんの口から聞きたい。ベアトリーチェとは誰なんだい？
言ってもどうせ信じない。
それはどういう意味だい？ひょっとして僕らの君は何かの事情からそれをかばうために黙っているというの？君はあの手紙を誰にもらったん？
ベアトリーチェにもらったんだよ。何度だって言う。手紙はベアトリーチェにもらった。ジョージお兄ちゃんがベアトリーチェを信じないのは殴れる相手じゃないから。ジョージお兄ちゃんはやるせない気持ちを暴力に変えて誰かにぶつけたいと思っている。だから殴れる相手が人間じゃなきゃ収まりがつかない。だからそんなジョージお兄ちゃんには真実を話しても受け入れられない。だから言っても無駄。信じない。でもマリアは何度も言うよ。真実だから言うよ。
She was talking about herself in the third person right now.
Yes. My brain.
Sudden Italian moment.
Yes.
Because she basically said it's different from the thing. She didn't say I'll keep on saying that. She said Maria will keep saying on that, basically.
Yes,
I don't know Japanese that much, but I have ears, so...
No. That's what she said, but I think it's just
a way of talking. Yes, I know, but still, it's interesting to
yes,
hear that.
Agreed.
ベアトリーチェはね、いる。黄金鏡の扉はもうすぐ開かれるよ。マリアはそこに行くの。ベアトリーチェが約束してくれたの。
Do you trust the word of a witch, little girl?
She does.
I mean, still though.
Wholeheartedly, she
その世
does.
界ではママも優しくてパパも一緒で優しいの。
Ah, okay, now that explains a lot. Now that explains a lot.
マリアは早くそこへ行きたいの。みんなはベアトリーチェのことを恐れている。そしてそれは無理もないことだけど。なら安心して。ベアトリーチェは言ってたよ。台風が去るまでに全てを終わらせるからって。
Oh, this is Butler, definitely. Yep.
饒舌なマリアも嫌いじゃねえが。とりあえずはそのくらいにしとけ。魔女はいる言ってたお前にとって、さぞや現状は愉快だろうが。とりあえずそいつはお前だけで噛み締めとけ。
Honestly, though, if you... I now understand Maria's point of view right now, because basically, Beatrice, whoever she is, me, real or not real, or someone else, basically said, I'll bring you to a place where your mother doesn't slap you and she's always happy with you, and your father as well.
I'm going to take you to the place where you're going to be happy.
Yes, she's 9.
Yes.
It makes sense. Now I understand a lot. Okay.
他人にまで押し付けるんじゃね
こいつ前から気持ち悪いやつだとは思ってたけど、おかしいぜ。どっかおかしいぜ。
In your noses right now? Okay.
バトラは思わねえのかよ。ケンジさんは、熊沢さんは、母さんはどうだよ。マリアは犯人の正体を知ってて隠してる。
She's not hiding it. She told you.
Yeah,
確かに直
multiple
接手を
times.
下してるわけじゃないか。でも間違いなく犯人の一味だぜ。そうさ、スパイさ。私たちと一緒になんかいさせられないぜ。
She's 9. What do you want to do with her?
マリアちゃん、不謹慎な話を慎むべき時もあることをし、これ以上混乱に油を注ぐような真似が過ぎれば、おばさんも本気で怒ります。
Her voice sounded very different.
Hi Elmer. Welcome. This is Umineko. She sounds very serious right now. That's why,
Yes.
probably. Natsui glared at Maria with frightening eyes. Maria was used to Aunt Rosa's style of scolding. She apparently hadn't built up resistance to Aunt Natsui's quiet sort of scolding. She shrugged and kept her mouth shut. Oh yeah, Natsui is the type that when she's angry, she's not like screaming. She's like...
Cold anger.
Yeah, cold anger. A desolate feeling filled the room. It felt as though things would just get more complicated if anyone spoke. How many people had already died? 6 people in that group. After that, both Aunt Eva and Uncle Yoshi, Kanon-kun, grandfather, there were all 18 people on this island, supposedly, and 10 of those people had been killed. That's more than half of us. And right now, there's absolutely no proof that the remaining 8 people will be safe.
とにかく、今は仲違いをしている時ではありません。
Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
How far are we from the end of Question Arc?
Question arc.
Yeah? Very far?
Very far. Wait, question arc is chapter 1 to 4.
Yes, I know, but
And-
still, after the people are dead, what there is in the Question Arc to do? Because I honestly don't know what to expect after we done the epitaph thing of the people died and we survived. And what is there?
I'm not going to
Don't answer,
that.
of course, but still I'm like, okay, the question arc of what the game is imposing me at least is like, yeah, a lot of people is dying and sacrifice and the witch is trying to revive and stuff like that. So what's after that?
Well, the question arc, as the name implies, is going to leave you with
A lot of questions. Yeah, so that will get answer. It makes sense. The answer are in the answer arc, of
In the answer
course.
arc.
Yes.
We are currently almost 1/4 of question arc.
Yes.
Almost.
No. I imagine that. The thing is, what is after that? Oh, I have no idea what to expect. Okay. No idea.
It's going to be cool.
No,
It's going to be cool.
that's okay, because I was thinking, okay, the question the game is giving me now is, does the witch really exist? Who killed these people? How's this witch gonna revive? What is the Golden Land? Does the gold really exist? Yes.
Yes. No doubt.
Other stuff that probably right now are are escaping my mind. Still, it's all of that. And after you reveal the witch, after you reveal the Beatrice, because at this point that's gonna happen. At a certain point, that's gonna happen because you can tease her, yes, but at a certain point, you have to show her because, you know.
Yes.
What's after that? What other question can you give me?
Oh, there's so much more.
Yes,
so
but
much
no.
more.
Okay, but in my point of view, is like, what can you ask? What can I ask? What question can you ask me? So,
Well,
whatever.
do you know who the culprit is?
At this point, we know that the culprit is Beatrice, of course, but
Okay. So are you going to believe that there is a 19th person on this island and that the culprit is a witch?
I honestly, I don't know, because what from one side I'm like, oh yes, this definitely makes sense if Beatrice is there. From another side, all of these things are explainable in a normal way if you think about it, even if they're a little bit far-fetched or stuff. So I don't know.
Okay.
The question is, could be and could not be. Everything is. It's like the Schrodinger's cat. You don't know what's in there until you open the box, and the box is still closed. So until I open it, I don't know. It could be both.
Please remember this.
They're gonna say something like that, of course.
Please remember this.
They're gonna say something like that, of course. Of course.
I can say this because you have seen this because you bought it for me. But I need to look it up because I can't remember the actual name. Wait. Why have I looked Umineko's Witch and for reasons Golden Fantasia came up instead of the Umineko's Witch version?
No idea. Do you hear that?
Okay, yeah.
Probably not.
The Nintendo Switch version is called Symphony of Catbox and Dreams.
Really? I mean, it's written in Japanese, so I don't know.
I told you.
Okay. Symphony of Catbox and Dreams.
Catbox and Dreams.
Ah, is it that Catbox I was talking about?
It's
Okay.
that Catbox.
Okay. Still.
I told you when I told you the name.
Okay. So
before we start. Please remember this.
By the way, if you're asking me, do you believe that Beatrice is real or not? My answer is yes, but actually no. So my answer is it could be, but it could also not be. But if it's not, who it is, I have no idea. I literally have no idea. Because the most suspicious one is dead, and it's not like she killed herself. So,
okay.
No idea.
犯人が神出鬼没に屋敷内を出入りしていることが間違いなくなった今、私たちは明日まで身を守ることだけに専念しなくてはなりません。
夏日おばさんに極めて同感だぜ。犯人探しは今夜ゆっくりできるさ。今はどこで籠城するかを考えた方がいい。
You know that if you barricade yourself and the culprit is between
You guys.
Guys, it's even worse, but okay. As I said this, I pointed out the clock to everyone. It was already 8 at night. We have been receiving shocks over and over again since the early morning, and our body and mind were both completely tired out. There's still a long, long time until tomorrow. We need some place to find. We need to find some place to barricade ourselves in so we could rest our bodies and get even the smallest amount of relief.
私も同感ですな。私も含め、もうみんな体も心も限界まで打ちのめされています。今からそれを考えた方が賢明でしょうな。
Okay, sorry. And now I'm thinking about that, and I have to say it. If it's not Beatrice, what the heck are that butterflies? Because we know that they are there. And also butterflies usually don't glow in the dark, so... whatever.
Can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Have we actually seen the butterflies?
I mean, Shannon saw them.
But Butler hasn't.
But... Cannon saw them. If you assume what they said, Butler cannot see the butterflies.
If you believe what the servants said,
Yeah, if you believe that,
Butler
of
has,
course.
An immunity to magic.
What? Butler has, sorry?
I said an immunity as a resistance to magic.
Yeah, Butler cannot.
Cannot see magic.
It's like in a different wavelength, so we cannot
Yes.
see it. Cannot see the butterflies.
Okay.
If you, that's the perfect
Believe that.
explanation.
Yes.
And I also don't see. Is this all a Scooby-Doo thing? And everyone agreed on. What the heck? It could also be that. Like the servers are. This is all an entire game, and everything is fake, and the servers are into that. And they talk like that just because I don't know if anyone could listen at any moment. And they probably had been instructed to do that. It could also be like that, but it's very complex to set up, but it's not impossible. Everything is a setup since the start. No one is actually dead. All of that is fake. And Nanjo is also into that, being the doctor. But I don't see Nanjo being that. It must be a very awesome actor at that point. Possible. Very improbable.
Very improbable, but
not impossible. Whatever. I don't know. There's like a bajillion possibilities going on, and we still have no real proof of anything. Whatever. I don't know.
そういうことだ。敵はマスターキーに準ずるものを持っている公算が高い。
Yes, and it's a possibility.
シャノンやカノン君、ゴーダさんは
What
マスター
about
キーを持ってましたか
the chain though?
はい。勤務時間中だったなら身につけていたはずです。
Listen, I played Phoenix Wright, and there's a lot of made up shit in that, and made up stuff, and very improbable stuff going on there. So, I don't know.
現場をいじらない方がいいってんで、そこまでは調べなかったろうが、誰かの鍵が奪われている可能性は否定できねえな。
What about the chain?
そもそも犯人はバラ庭園倉庫のシャッターを開けるために一度使用人室を訪れている可能性があります。そこでマスターキーをすでに入手していると考えて間違いないでしょう。
Wouldn't a server know about a master key though?
they use them.
There were many servants serving the Yoshiromiya family. Because of that, there were several master keys. Furthermore, every time one employee started or finished working, the key was passed between servants. We had to acknowledge that this had probably got a bit sloppy at times in the past.
仮に殺された使用人の誰かのポケットからその鍵でも開けられない安全な場所はあるのか。
私たちはお仕事の都合上、すべてのお部屋の鍵を預かっており
What?
ます。
What you said?
In Kinzo's studio, probably.
Yeah.
お屋敷もゲストハウスもすべてです。
No, I'm thinking, sorry. My brain gears are going on and I'm like, yes. And I was thinking about what I said earlier, that this could have been all an act. But if it is all an act, Canon died in front of other people, so it cannot be an act. So, yeah, cannot be. That option is thrown. It's been thrown out already. So no.
つまり私たちはどこへ立てこもって鍵をかけようと。
Unless there's an absurd explanation for that as well, but that at that point it's impossible. So for me to know.
上等だぜ。鍵なんかいるもんか。
You could barricade the doors though, if you're thinking about that.
返り討ちにしてやるぜ。
敵は正面から来ないよ。最初の6人はともかく母さんたちやカノン君、そしておじい様の霊を見る限り、敵は孤立した
So if you stay all together, nothing's gonna
一
happen.
部屋に固まっている僕たちのところへ堂々と乗り込んでこられるほどの力はない。
Still, same person killed 6 people, so not very isolated, but yeah.
そうだな、兄貴の言う通りだ。ひょっとするとおばさんのライフル銃が抑止効果として
The rifle's gonna end. The rifle's gonna be the end of someone of you. You know that, right?
なら良いのですが。
マリア、言いたいことがあるんだろうが、そいつは飲み込んでしばらく。
Okay. I probably want to say something about how witches is very afraid of things like ants. But if she were to say it out loud, the atmosphere around it would start to get pretty edgy. I had noticed and decided to put a stop to it.
よろしいでしょうか。一箇所だけ使用人の鍵束でも入れない場所。
You just
I'm
sneeze?
sorry. No, my brain now is starting to lose a little bit of brain cells because it's a bit later. So instead of if I may, I read if I gay.
If I gay?
If I gay. There is a timeline in which I shipped Genji with Inzo.
With Kinzo?
A long time ago.
I mean... No, I mean... It could have been one-sided, though. Very one-sided, but it could be.
The kind of relationship in which the servant has this absurd admiration for his master.
I mean, Gaji definitely the admiration for Kinzo, and if it would have been love, it would definitely be one-sided because Kinzo is all for Beatrice, and we know about that.
Yes.
はい。親方様の書斎です。
Oh, of course.
There we go.
There's only one key that can do that.
私は反対だぜ。
Why?
じい様の気持ち悪い部屋になんか入りたくない。
あの部屋に入れる鍵は何本あるの？
2本です。
One.
1本は
two.
常に私が。もう1
Kinzo has the
本は
other
親
one.
方様がお持ちでしたが、先ほど
I wasn't. The other key wasn't him. Ken just had took a handkerchief out of his pocket and opened it, showing us the burned and filthy study key. Then he showed it alongside his own key, which he had once lent to Natsuhi.
本来なら警察のために鍵も残すべきだったのです。親方様より書斎の留守は必ず守るようにと仰せつけられておりましたもので。なるほど。ということは、金蔵さんの書斎は唯一の安全地帯というわけですな。
そういうことになりますね。あの怪しげな匂いの部屋に一晩も立てこもるなど。
I mean, even if it's strange, it's still a normal room in the end, so...
あの部屋が一番安全であることを今は認めなければならないようです。
その安全な部屋に閉じこもってたじい様を犯人は連れ出して殺してる。
He probably went out on purpose.
Yes.
And also now that I think about it, Kinzo's room is a good point because it's like they said it got a bathroom and everything else to live there, so
yeah.
it makes sense.
絶対安全とは言い切れねえけどな。
バトラ君の説のおじい様がうまくレシートをやり過ごして自分の意思で部屋を出た
Definitely went out on his real will.
と考えるなら籠城の価値はあるかもしれない。
楽観的すぎだぜ、兄貴。
However, at the same time, I thought he brought up a pretty interesting point. After all, this gives us a chance to question the enemy, the witch herself, about how the sealed door had been opened. If we assume the culprit used some technique to kidnap grandfather from his study, they'd have to show us the same trick again if they wanted to assault us in the study. And that give us a chance to make the culprit prove how they did it right before our eyes. If she's really a witch, we'll be forced to use her little magic trick to open the door right in front of us. But that's probably impossible. Spin the chessboard around, it's obviously the culprit is acting in a way that'll make us think they're a witch. If she really is a witch, all she's got to do is appear in front of us and wow us with a colorful display of magic. Since she's avoided doing that, everything must be the work of a fake witch who wants us to think she's real. Therefore, a culprit will use a technique other than magic to defeat the closed room, wouldn't open the door before our eyes. Okay.
じいさんの部屋ってのは8人で押しかけても大丈夫なくらいの広さなんすか？
はい。ベッドにソファー、毛布類もありますので、贅沢を言わなければ十分。流しにご不浄。冷蔵庫に魚。
Especially a liquor cabinet at the other point.
You want to forget these days.
そいつはすげえ。しかしおかしなもんだな。自分の家の中にさらに自分の家を作ったってのか？島を丸ごと買って自分の夢を全て実現しきったじい様の最後の家にしちゃ随分手狭なんだな。
そうですね。いつの頃からかお父様にとっては屋敷内ですら心を許せる場所ではなく、
そこに引きこもっていたのを私たちは嘲笑い、そして今度は私たちがそこに立てこもろうってわけだ。
A real Ikikomori.
Yes.
Jessica spat the words out.
ジェシカちゃんは立てこもるより犯人を探しに行きたいという感じ
I
だ。
mean,
Well,
understandable.
もちろんこっちから探しに行って見つけられるなんて思う。結局は待つしかない。ならどこで待ったって同じだろ。
Why did the pretty divided like that?
I
逃げ
don't
も
know.
隠れもしない。
Then, okay.
客までテレビでも見ながら
Probably a bug or something.
待とうじゃねえかよ。ベアトリーチェ様をよ。
Because we'll die if you do that, you know?
現れなければ現れないで犯人を暴くのは私たちである必要がないからです。
正論です。警察が来るまで危険を冒すべきではありません。
ありがとう南條先生。私はお父様の書斎に移るべきだと思います。確かにお父様が連れ出された可能性があり、しかしバトラ君の推理のお父様が何らかの方法で自ら書斎を出て外で襲われた可能性も否定できません。
A while back, I proposed a string theory as a stopgap measure. But just as don't ever say it, even though that trick would be possible, I couldn't explain what motive could have made grandfather sneak out of his study in such a troublesome way. Plus, grandfather... Plus, grandfather wouldn't even have used that trick unless he knew that receipt was wedged in the door. I don't know. Everything's very far-fetched. By the way, that someone named Beatrice exists or existed at some point, it is true. Because Kinzo was screaming her name, and I mean, it could have been crazy, but I don't know. And also, we kinda know that the gold is real because of that gold ingot. It could have been created just to mess up with people, but very improbable. I don't know. I don't know what to think, honestly.
It's okay.
I don't have Adam pointed out the last part, but it's clear how absurd that theory was. So that mean that the sealed door form a closed room, just as Aunt Eva claimed? Is it undeniable fact that Aunt Natsui was the culprit? If Aunt Eva were here now, she probably made that claim openly and blow my string theory away. Definitely.
Yes.
But anyway, I just had to admit that the room with both a bed and a toilet that all 8 people could be shut up in, and with only 2 keys, both of which were gathered here, had to be the safest place in the mansion right now. Unless the culprit is between you, and that would be the perfect moment to kill everyone.
Well, what would you choose in this case?
Yeah, I know, but still. At the very least, I figured this would be better just staying shut up in the parlor and hoping nothing would go wrong. But wait, have we been safe only because we've been shut up in the parlor? What if leaving that room and moving to an explorer location is actually more dangerous? Ah, it's useless. It's all useless. My flimsy eye is about to break out in a fever. Honestly, I feel you, Butler, because I don't know what to think right now. Oh, have a good night, Mikhail. Don't worry. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye.
If I keep spinning the chessboard around right and wrong, we'll keep switching places over and over, and I won't be able to believe anything. That's what I feel right now, because I have like 300 different theories, and I'm like, what? Which of them it is? Anything could be. When it seemed like the culprit is one of the 18, I want to believe in Beatrice. And once I start believing in Beatrice, I start wanting to find the culprit and make the 18. Me. If that keeps spinning around forever, in the end my thoughts would have taken one step from where they started. How far back in the past was it that Kiri-san taught me about chessboard thinking? The concept of examining the situation by spinning it around and thinking from the enemy's side. I seem to remember being so interested back then. I used it to guide all my thinking. By the way, Kiri-san was dad's co-workers back then. I never dreamed that she'd someday be added to our family. Didn't Kiri-san tell me something once? I get the feeling that she once said that while this chessboard thinking was one way of looking at things, it certainly wasn't all-powerful. it wouldn't be good to rely on it too much.
チェス盤思考ってのはね、昔本で読んだゲーム理論というものを私なりに解釈したものよ。とても面白い学問だから、バトラ君も大学に入ったら挑戦してみるといいわよ。
ぜひやってみたいっす。それを勉強してチェス盤思考をもっと鍛えたら、どんな相手の手の内も読めるみたいで楽しいじゃないっすか。
でもね、盲信しちゃだ。ゲーム理論は非常に奥深く複雑な学問なの。
What is game theory?
チェス盤思考はその上辺だけを私なりに解釈した考え方に過ぎない。バトラ君が想像するほどに相手の手の内を読み切るには相当の勉強が必要よ。しかもチェス盤理論は応用の利く便利なものではあっても完璧ではない。便利ではあっても弱点が多い。
Going to look it up.
弱点。
ええ、チェス盤思考の基礎はゲーム理論。
Oh, they're probably gonna explain now.
突き詰めると数学に行き着くの。数学の弱点は何か知ってる？
There we go.
ノイズよ。
Eh? No, wait, what? Noise? Eh?
I think it's redundant information that you don't need.
Okay, let me see. In math, when you write 1 plus 1 equals 2, the process will always result in 2, no matter how many billions years pass. Nothing more, nothing less. That's because there's absolutely no noise mixed in. But for example, unlike math, the Japanese language has noise mixed in. Kanji are a good example. Old kanji and new kanji are slightly different, which represents an introduction of noise created by the change between time periods. Isn't this really the same? Are those some policies seem foolish in the modern era, but were meaningful at some point in the past? Because the rules of chess are fixed, when a pair of experts are discussing one particular layout, it's possible they could reach the same conclusion whether they're from 100 years in the past or 100 years in the future. However, if the rules of chess have gone through massive changes of time, it is possible that the discussion about the same layout would have changed as well.
その通り。人の世の事象は本来ノイズだらけなのよ。人の感情だってそうでしょ？全く同じことが起こったからといって、人は必ず決められた反応を示すとは限らない。
Okay, yes.
それを数学の理論で当てはめ、すでに理論には弱点と限界があることを知らなければならない。手っ取り早く言うと、チェス盤思考はノイズや気まぐれ、そして誤解、認識ミスに非常に弱いの。
That's right. Kiri-san definitely said that. Chess has always been a game where both sides play by the same rules and fight with the same condition of victory. That's why it's possible for both sides to predict the other's move. It's possible to read your opponent because you can always suppose they'll make the best move they can find. But if your opponent is fickle or a bit tired, makes a move that can only be called the best? Or what if this game actually has a special rule? Some unknown thing that only the enemies knows about and can use? In fact, what if the opponent actually has some goal other than victory? Think from your enemy's perspective. That's the basis of chessboard thinking. Which means if you misread your enemy, the answer you draw from this process will be complete rubbish unless... So far, I've used chessboard theory to get several vague bits of information about the culprit hiding behind this case, or so I think. However, I don't know anything about the culprit. I'm just playing around in a labyrinth of thought.
I looked it up, and one, I realized that in English, well, it's called game theory, and I got disambiguation about game theory from MatPat.
Oh yeah, of course.
Game theory is the study of mathematical models or strategic interactions. It has applications in many fields of social science and is used extensively in economics, logic, system science, and computer science. Initially, game theory addressed two-person zero-sum games, in which participants' gains or losses are exactly balanced by the losses and gains of the other participants. And this was eventually applied to a wide range of behavioral relations. It is now an umbrella term for the science of rational decision-making in humans, animals, and computers.
Okay. This sounds very complex, and it's not something I would expect a game would teach me, honestly.
Oh, this is just the beginning.
By the way, if you're somewhere here at a time like this, you should probably be able to notice something with her much sharper thinking ability. What's Kiria's work? What was Kiria's work?
I stop here.
Oh, we stop here?
I think this is a good moment to stop.
Okay. Yeah, this is also pretty late, so it makes sense.
Take this with a grain of salt. Depending on how it goes next time, we could be able to finish episode 1.
Oh, okay. Maybe
We could be able to finish
one or
episode
two
1.
stream, let's say. Okay.
Yes.
Just tell me, is there gonna be a huge cliffhanger when the chapter ends? Of course.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
I would have been mad. I bet.
There is no point in
I
hiding.
bet. In the end of the chapter, we're gonna see Beatrice, and that's just it. I would bet anything on, like, we're gonna see that she's gonna appear, and then chapter end. Until next time. Basically saying until next time, bitches.
And bitches.
Bitches and witches.
Bitches and witches.
It rhymes, so, you know, it's true.
Yes.
Okay. So, anything to say for yourself?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Wait, should we plug Astra for a second since...
Oh, yes. Astra, that was here in chat, and she's still lurking probably. It's gonna have debut in, like, how many days?
3
3 days?
on Thursday.
Yes, 3 days. So, yeah, she has a very beautiful new model. Go follow her. You know what?
Yeah. You have a link?
No, I don't need it. There we go.
There we go.
Yes, you need it. Shut up.
Yeah. Take it.
Take it and shut up. So she's gonna have a beautiful new model and stuff. Go look at it. It's amazing, and she's very beautiful. So, oh, and also talking about myself, there's gonna be just another stream this week, so just 2 instead of the usual 3, because I'm gonna be at a convention this weekend, and also Off is gonna be there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna meet. And finally after all this, after 10,000 years. So, okay, gotta go. And I'll see you in a bit, in a pixel bit. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Was there any second to your channel point? Yeah. Bye-bye, good night.